is Robin, and this is my very first time vlogging in person. And I'm a little nervous, but I think that this is going to be fun, so bear with me. So I've been a knitter for about 16 years. My mom taught me how to knit when I was just a little girl, and I loved it, but I never really did anything with it. And my mom wasn't a knitter. She never really made anything either. And so it was just kind of a hobby that I set aside. Well, about 16 years ago, my oldest daughter told us she was going to have a baby. So I was going to be a grandma. And I knew right away that I wanted to get into knitting so I could knit all the baby things. And I did. And that's kind of how I am. I just jump in with both feet. I don't stop I guess I'm impulsive. I just jump in. So I went to a local yarn shop, didn't know a lot about anything, picked out some things, and I have rarely had a day pass since then that I haven't knit. And that's kind of how I'm approaching this whole vlog thing, just jumping in. I did try to start a Vlogmas, and I got about 6 days in, and the learning curve was just so steep, and I was so busy with Christmas, I kind of just let it go. But I thought I'm going to pick it up after Christmas, and I'm going to review all the Advents that I did. And so that's what I'm doing today. So this last summer, I was gifted some money and told that I could only use it to buy something frivolous. And I knew immediately what I was going to do. I had done a yarn advent last year, and I enjoyed it so much. So I bought 5 yarn advents, and I've had so much fun. It's just been a great way to have spent that money, and I'm so grateful. Probably won't get to do anything that extravagant again. I will buy 1 or 2 advents in the years to come, but I'll probably never be able to have 5 again. But I thought it would be fun to review them today, and so that's what I'm going to do. So one of my very favorite yarn companies is Woolberry. She's an independent yarn dyer. She and her husband dye the most beautiful yarn, and I love it. And last year, that was the one yarn advent I did, was hers. She did a mini skein advent, and I knit a beautiful blanket out of it. And so I wanted to sign up again for hers, but she was doing it different this year. And she chose to do what she's calling a book society, a winter book society. So you bought the kit, and it included a mystery book. You didn't know what kind of book you were going to get. And some yarn that you would open. It would be labeled with a page number, so when you read to that page, then you would open that skein of yarn. And that sounded really fun, right? And so I signed up right away. I'm going to go ahead and share the cost of these advents because I just think that's okay to know. So this one cost $175. It included a book. It included 4 full skeins of fingering weight yarn. It included a cute mug along with a hot chocolate bomb. And it also included some needle stoppers, little snowflake needle stoppers. So I was super excited. So on December 1st, I unwrapped the book, and it was called One Day in December. Well, I knew right away this isn't my type of genre that I enjoy reading. I'm more into historical fiction, autobiographies, biographies, that kind of thing. But I thought, oh well, we'll give it a try. It was from Reese's Book Club. I'll just have to say I didn't enjoy it at all. I did read it. I followed the rules. I didn't open the yarn until I got to the page. But it wasn't my kind of book, and I didn't enjoy it at all. So anyway, the yarn, I always love Woolberry yarn. This was the first skein. This was the second, the third, and the fourth. And you can see it's just beautiful yarn. I understood why she chose the colorway she did for the first two. I never really did associate the third and fourth skein with what I was reading. So I don't know if I just missed something or what. To be honest, I won't do this again next year. I don't like taking a risk on book reading. Time is short. I like to read, but I just want to read what I like to read. So I have the yarn. I'm going to enjoy it, but I won't sign up for a book society again. Okay, the second yarn advent I bought was through Legacy Fiber Arts. I had been listening to their podcast and I heard them advertise it, and they were going to do a theme called Journey to the North Pole, and that fascinated me right away. So I signed up, I bought it, and waited anxiously to receive it. This one was the most expensive of the yarn advents I got. It was $265, which seems a little steep, but the yarn, oh my gosh. It is so beautiful. The speckles and the sparkles are almost more than I can stand. So you get all these little mini yarn skeins that you opened each day. They came in these little cardboard boxes numbered, and you'd open it and take it out. And then I went ahead and labeled them because I like to keep them in the order that I opened them. But the really fun part about it was they corresponded with this map of the North Pole that you could color in each day. And I just enjoyed that so very much. So the colors were like Gingerbread Inn, Claus Candle Shop, Sweet Shop, Night Flight, and the colors correlated with those names. It was so, so much fun. I love this yarn. Let me see, here's a speckle one. See if you can see the sparkle one. You can see all the sparkles in there. It just glistens. It's so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. And then you got 25 mini skeins, and then you get a full skein on the last day. So today, I just opened this. It's called Santa Siding, and it's their steel toes fingering weight, 463 yards. Just so pretty. I loved this. It was expensive, but I think next year I would do it again. It might be one of the two that I do next year because I just loved it and loved the colors so much. So I'll insert a picture of that here. The next advent I signed up for was Twice Sheared Sheep's box of yarn goodness. Not yarn, but notions and things you use when knitting. I have followed Dawn from Twice Sheared Sheep on Instagram for a while, and I have her sock ruler and I have one of her row counters, and I just think she's so clever. So I went ahead and invested it. It was $250. It was the most beautiful box that came. Just beautiful. It had a big red ribbon on it. And then when you opened it up, the boxes were just so perfectly packed in there and numbered. I was smitten right away. I loved this one. Every day you'd get something new. You didn't know what you were going to get. You get from tins. She had a polar bear theme, a kind of a blue theme. So we got stitch markers, a shawl color I had never even heard of before. That sounds like fun. More row counters, which I was so excited about because I love using those. A beautiful project bag with the polar bear theme. And then today, on the last day, a beautiful skein of Malabrigo yarn. Isn't that pretty? But every day was a spectacular gift. I mean, I put them all in the bag. There's just so many of them. This was delightful. I enjoyed every day opening that package and seeing, oh, and you know what? The very first day was a beautiful mug. Here it is with my coffee in it. This came on day one. It says, the yarn speaks to me. I love it. I love the color. I love the weight. It's just perfect. So this was worth the money. The truth is, though, I don't think I would do it again next year, simply because I feel like I have all the stuff, and I don't know if it would be different. I can't imagine how she could create any more different things. An extra sock ruler, which I love these sock rulers. And I'd already have one, so now I have two. So I feel like if I did it again next year, I'd be just getting a lot of the same things that I probably don't need that many of. So that's the only reason I wouldn't do it again next year. But if you haven't done it, I recommend it. Okay, the fourth yarn advent I bought was Woolens and Nosh. I had seen these on some Vlogmases from last year, and I thought they looked so fun. So what you get is a bag with their logo on it, and then there's a piece of yarn sticking out of each side. And there's a base color, which this year was the gray. And so I had my cuffs ready. And then on day one, you pull out the first color, and when it gets to gray again, you stop and wait for the next day. So you never know what color you're gonna have the next day. So I did this every morning in bed with my coffee. It took me about 30 minutes to do both socks, and I loved it. It was so much fun. The only thing is, I've done the 24 stripes, and I'm not finished, so I won't have a full pair of socks for Christmas. I do wish I had known. I would have started my heel flap probably around in here. And then I think that way I would have gone through and finished the sock with the 24 stripes. But I did make the leg just a little bit longer. They're gonna be for my husband, and I think he's gonna like them. Can't remember if I mentioned this was $75, and I will do this one again next year. I enjoyed it so much. I had a lot of fun with that. Then my very last advent I did was Hypnotic Yarn. I saw them advertise it on Instagram, and I was fascinated with their theme. You could choose from a country Christmas, I think, or a vintage Christmas. And they kind of gave a little sample of what they might look like, and I knew right away I wanted to do the vintage Christmas. I remembered buying it, but I didn't remember any details. So when it arrived, it had a label on it that said, do not open until December 24th. It was their Christmas Eve cast on. I couldn't recall what we were casting on, what it was gonna be. I just had totally forgotten. So it was a big surprise when I opened it on Christmas Eve. Besides the yarn, there were sweet, sweet goodies in there. There was a mug, there was a beautiful row counter that matched the theme. There's some hot chocolate, and I guess that must be vanilla chocolate, I'm not sure. Little tip toppers, stitch markers, a pin with the theme on it. And then we had a discussion on the Crazy Sock Lady Facebook group yesterday about how many skeins of yarn everyone got. And I couldn't remember how it was ordered, but I think we decided that you could choose how many skeins you wanted. And so I got 4 skeins of this beautiful vintage Christmas yarn. It is the softest yarn. It's a superwash merino and nylon, 15% nylon. It's their plush sock base. It is so, so soft. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this yet. For now, I'm just enjoying looking at it and feeling it. This one was $250 for the box with the 4 skeins of yarn. Pretty steep, high priced. If I do this one again, I'll probably only do 1 skein of yarn, which would be a lot cheaper. So, but I don't regret it. This is so, so beautiful. So what am I going to do with these yarn advents? Well, I do have a plan for the Legacy Fiber Art mini skeins. I am going to do the Land of Sweets cowl by Helen Stewart. I've had that in that pattern in my Ravelry queue for a long time, and I think it's going to be the perfect yarn for that. And then of course it won't use it all, and so then I think I'm going to use what's remaining to do a blanket. I like to do just the garter stitch blankets. I hold it double with a solid, so probably with like a cream color or something, and I think that's going to make a beautiful blanket. So I'll get 2 projects out of that yarn, so I feel good about that. Actually, the other blanket I was thinking about doing was the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. Actually, I think I might go with that one. That's a beautiful one where you do, it almost looks like a quilt. You do squares where there's a diagonal color change, so you use a solid color and then a mini skein. Yeah, I think I will do that one. And I think that'll make a really pretty blanket. So that's my plan. Well, so that's my yarn advent purchases. It's going to be sad waking up now and not having any to open, but I have a lot of fun yarn to enjoy. I hope you found this informational, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll answer them. I do also want to invite you to look into my Etsy shop. I have just started a new Etsy shop. It's called Robin's Nest Knits, and the Robin's Nest is spelled with a Z, so it's ROBINZNESTKNITS. And I sell project bags there. I've had some fun making those. I sold quite a few at Christmas time, and I'm working on restocking my shop with Valentine's bags. One thing I noticed was a big seller at Christmas time were the gnomes, and so I'm making some Valentine gnomes bags, which I think you might find fun. And then I've also been inspired by the Woolens Nosh 2 yarn balls at a time bag. And so I'm designing some of these with the Valentine theme. So you can put 2 cakes of yarn and knit your socks 2 at a time that way without the yarn getting tangled. So I am going to work up some of those and have those in the shop as well. I think that will be available on January 8th is the day I plan to have those in my shop. So check that out, Robin's Nest Knits on Etsy. And thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this, if you found it helpful, just drop a comment below and let me know. And in the meantime, have a really happy new year. Bye.